2020 is drawing to an end. Let's go way back and start. What was going on in Anderson County before we found out there was a pandemic coming in?
Let's see, unemployment was around 2%, and we were looking to do some major projects, primarily the jail, and then having meetings and discussions, and then, as you know, in March the bottom fell out.
What were some of the big projects coming up the first quarter there before they?
Well, really, the biggest project the council was looking at was the building of a new jail. That's the most significant project that was on the board.
Yeah, because y'all put the study out with all the details.
Put the study, did everything, had everything ready, and then, boom, you know, our county finances took a hit, and so we've ratcheted everything down. So far, we're doing real good, and we have surplus, but you know, we have to watch it every second because we don't know what's going to happen.
Where's the jail now? Where does it stand now?
Well, thank goodness for one of the things. I mean, at one point in time, we were popping over 400, and right now we seem to be staying around 300, which is still overcrowded, but much more manageable. And so that's where we are right now. But until we see an uptick, which hopefully the vaccine and people are wearing masks and doing the right things, maybe we can start looking at that again. Because
so criminals are staying home, is that?
Criminals are staying home. No, they're not staying home. They never stay home. And they do wear masks, but they were wearing masks before. So we're dealing with that. So.
Anything else big in that first quarter that's been put on hold?
That's the biggest thing that I can think of because that was the biggest need.
What about the Courthouse Square property?
Courthouse Square property is still, you know, under consideration, but again, as I tell you every month, until it's absolutely correct, don't need to pull that trigger. And with the story you wrote today about School District 5 buying the old First Citizens building and the building back there, that could put a different spin on how it should look and what should go there. And the old meeting place cafe, that's just changed hands, and I think that's going to be residential, I think, plus some other developments right around here, right around the courthouse, that if they come to fruition, it may change a design or an idea on what should happen, and it would all be for the better. But all of those projects are imminent.
So knowing what they're doing is important, even though COVID-19 did delay some meetings on it. Because like the Palmetto building is going to be residential, so that might affect how much residential goes in over there.
Yeah, all of those things is changing so rapidly. All of those things can dictate what needs to go back there and what should go back there.
But so there's still no timetable, just trying to get it done.
I mean, we could have something under construction now. I don't know if it's the right thing to put up back there now.
So you think in the first quarter we may have a good plan? Or
First quarter we might. I think more along the second or third quarter. I don't know when COVID's going to end. Even if everybody gets vaccinated, I think we're still going to be doing this in March, you know, to round out a full year.
Well, you started the year with all these things in mind, and then all of a sudden we have a worldwide pandemic, and it hit here pretty hard too,
Yes.
didn't it? What happened once it hit here? How did the county have to regroup and reorganize?
Well, we had to close access to public buildings for a period of time. We never stopped working. We never stopped providing services, but we had to recreate a way to do that. And one of the things is we learned how to do a whole lot of things that you don't have to come down here to do anymore. Like now you can pay your taxes online, and one of the things we've done during COVID is there's no fee for using your credit card. We eat that charge. So that shouldn't be a hindrance. And the more people who pay their taxes using a credit card and do not go to the annex, the safer we all are. Although we try to keep it clean and take care of our fellow employees who work down there, the fewer people in that building, the better.
So is that like one of the things that going forward y'all have learned that'll help after the pandemic's gone?
We can do a whole lot of things remotely that we couldn't do before. But we also learned there's some things that you have better do in person because they're things that require you looking face to face with people. And we may be looking at them 7 feet apart, but you need to see them.
Well, it certainly changed the whole perspective for emergency services, how they were going to respond. What all did they have to do to get everybody?
Well, one of the things they had to do is A, make sure the people in Anderson County were safe, B, provide protective equipment to everybody who asked for in the initial stages. Another thing they had to do is work with local industry upon request to tell them how to do things better and more safely. and provided a lot of expertise. Electrolux comes to mind. What do we need to do? How do we need to do it? Where can we get supplies? And there was a whole lot of that going on, and that might explain why our emergency services director, David Baker, has received 4 awards from all across the state for his outstanding leadership during the COVID epidemic.
Did all of that cooperation, including ANMED and other things, you think that will be valuable moving ahead now that you already have those things in place?
Well, I think cooperation is always good. Dividing up into warring enemies is never good. We have a great relationship with the city of Anderson, and we try to have a great relationship with everybody. Don't have enough time to be fussing and fighting with people.
Well, just speaking of, I don't want to chase it too far, but it seems like there are more cooperative efforts going on with the city now than there have been in a long time.
There are a lot of projects, and they're very ambitious and want to get things done, and some of those things require the county to get involved, some of the things that we can offer, and we're happy to do it because everybody who lives in the city of Anderson is an Anderson County resident. So for us to say that's a separate entity from the county, we're all one and the same. We just provide services in a different way. They don't run the courthouse. Anderson County runs the courthouse. But the courthouse is in the city of Anderson. So the more cooperation, the more we do together, the more we keep each other informed, the more seamless it is, and the more we can get done.
And then COVID hit, and for people who don't know, remind people how hard it hit the whole courthouse and everything down here.
Oh, it just laid a whole bunch of people out, including me, and our county attorney, and Ms. Phyllis White, who works here with us, and a whole lot of other people. And we still have people going down with COVID. Our economic development director is currently out with COVID, so it's still here, still going around, and I'm pretty sure it's only going to get a little stronger, and more people are going to go down.
And the county's continuing to update information and where people can find resources
Every day.
if they need help.
Every day.
Remind people where that is. If they...
You can go to the Anderson County website, Anderson County Emergency Services website, the Sheriff's Department website. There are a lot of ways to get to where that information is.
Okay, I don't want to give the impression, since we're talking about this, that once COVID hit, everything stopped, because nothing.
No.
Economic development continued. Talk about some of the highlights of this year's economic development.
Well, there have been a lot of highlights, economic development highlights. Last week when we announced the expansion at TTI, 600 jobs, $130 million investment, and those are jobs that you can apply for now, so we're very happy about that. We have another economic development announcement tomorrow, which we'll release at 11 o'clock. It's automotive related. Not that great number of jobs, but they're buying additional property in Anderson County to expand and create new jobs. After the 15th of this month, we think we will have another economic development announcement, substantial number of jobs. And then we're hoping to put one more in right before Christmas and have another economic development announcement. So as I said, through expansions and brand new stuff, we're going to have a good November and December, and it's coming to fruition. So we're happy about that.
And November, we're talking about the fourth quarter, but actually even the other quarters remain strong. Do you remember some of the biggest announcements? I know it's been a while, but I know expansion at
Electrolux was a huge deal,
yeah,
and it's continuing to be a huge deal. Just a whole lot of our companies are expanding, and a lot of new people moving in, and our business incubator process out at the old Ryobi building. We have 3 people out there developing businesses. We're going to let one local business use the Civic Center. Company's been here a long time. They've got a defense contract with the Air Force, and they have to lay out a huge piece of material and put it together. They didn't have any place to do it, so we were able to allow them to use the Civic Center, the whole auditorium, to put this mammoth fuel cell protector together over there, and that's creating jobs for Anderson County. And then we have another local business who has received a big contract, but they can't build a building fast enough to complete that contract, so we're going to make space available in the old TTI building to allow them to go out there and start manufacturing until they can get their building up. And we're also working on other initiatives. We've had several meetings, had one last week. We're trying to find a way that if you don't have a way to get to work, that we can get you to work. And there are a lot of different ideas, whether we contract with somebody who has vans or we work, which my favorite and which I know works better, is point to point, where Uber or Lyft or some contracted service goes to that person's house and carries them to work and back. Because no matter how much we expand the bus service, our buses run during the day. But if you're swinging shifts, which I've done, you can't rely on a bus line. Because if you're doing a second or third, that bus isn't going to take care of you. So we need to look at different models. We're going to love our buses and keep those going, but we've got to look at different ways to get this to help people who maybe have been chronically unemployed or have some issues. If we can get them back and forth to work so they can save up and buy their own car, we've done a great day's work. And another thing that the county council is very, very proud of, starting January, we will have a van for our veterans. Now we have a van system, but it's only primarily if you can get up there to the veterans office, they can take you to Columbia or Augusta. But the problem, the breakdown was, if I'm at my house, how am I going to get there? And wonder if I miss the bus. So we're going to have a van, and its sole job is to help veterans get from point to point, doctor's appointments, hospital visits, and all of those things. So that's another step in our transportation efforts, targeting a specific population.
I'm gonna get back to transportation in a minute, but you did mention Civic Center. I guess it took a hit with events this year. What are y'all doing to try to get ready for next year and recoup? And
Well, we still don't know when we'll be able to have events.
first time we've had to call off Celebrate Anderson.
It's the first time we've had to call that off, and the Christmas tree lighting, we had to call that off because you don't want to host a super spreader event. It's not wise to do it, so we had to cancel those two things. But both of those events will be back next year, because I'm hoping everything will be 90% normal next year.
Has the Civic Center taken a pretty big hit, though, because of all?
It's taken a hit, but we've done a lot of things to economize. And we still have county meetings out there, and we still have sheriff's department training, and we have private companies doing training. But we've learned how to do new things. We've always had a company that does consignment sales, and they've always gone inside. We couldn't do that. So we used the balloon launch field, and I don't know whether they'll ever go back inside again because it did so well outside. I mean, it was a traffic jam every way you look for people to get there. So Civic Center's taking a hit, but we're watching that and not doing any extravagant spending either.
You mentioned transportation. There was a lot of road work this year. You've
Whole
been
lot
living
of
around the county. You've seen the improvements and the work.
Whole lot of road work from the penny sales tax passed by the state, and a whole lot of road work from the Anderson County Transportation Committee. So you've had a whole lot of road work, and you've got a whole lot more road work coming. We were just looking at some plans for a roundabout on 29, major redevelopments in front of the jockey lot, which will be a year away, easily a year away. But a lot of work there, a lot of traffic improvements, and a lot of paving. And the county's going to be doing some paving too, not as much as we'd like, but we're going to be doing some paving too. So you're really going to have 3 people attacking paving in the county. So we're hoping that's going to show some real results, and it has on some major roads.
And we're 8 to 10 weeks away from working on another budget. Are they looking at new ways to create? Because I know even with that, we're always behind on road funding here.
And they're going to be looking at that, but nothing concrete, because we just wrapped up the other budget. So everybody's taking like, whew, all right, let's breathe a minute before we go right back into it.
But it's the last thing was about $8 million a year is really needed to maintain and keep roads from crumbling.
Absolutely. That's how much it costs.
And we don't have anywhere near that much.
No. And do you want to put that on property tax owners? I don't think you do. Do you maybe want to do some kind of a fee for people who actually have a car and use it? Maybe you want to do that. But council will be deciding on what they can do on that. But you've got to do something that's fair and equitable.
You mentioned the budget. Council managed to pass a budget with no increases and no service cuts. That
Correct.
was sort of a magic trick, a little bit, wasn't it?
Well, the chief financial officer of the county, Rita Davis, is a magician, and we were able to do that. Plus, all of the people who work in Anderson County, they understood it was a difficult situation, and there were no crazy requests. It was everybody saying, let's work together, let's get through this, let's see what we can do, because hopefully we're going to come out all right. And we will, and we'll come out better, and we'll come out stronger. Another thing that we're looking forward to is the release of the census. So we don't know when that's going to happen. But it has to happen pretty soon so that people can redraw county council, city council, House of Representatives. All those lines will have to be drawn before the election in 2022. So that's another big task that's coming up.
And that's been sort of looming for a long time with growth.
Yes, and that's really going to tell you where the growth's occurring.
We already kind of know. What are the challenges with dealing with it? I mean, really, you take the northern half of the city of Anderson and you go just northwest and northeast, and that's where all the growth is.
Yeah, but you go look in the Powdersville Council District, that's going to shrink geographically. And the Pendleton area, what's going to happen there? And when something happens in one, something happens in another one. Because it's just a bunch of moving pieces, and you try to keep all the council districts with the same population. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting on the state level. I mean, what Senate districts, are they going to shrink? Where are they going to go? What's going to happen? And what's our total going to be on the census? What's that number? That'll be a very interesting number to see.
And important for the budget.
And important for the budget, because the more people, you have to spend a little more money. Do you make some more money? Yes, you do.
Well, I've been talking to all the mayors, and they all have said that cooperation between county council and the local townships is just stellar, and it's really helped them get things done. I guess some examples from this year, you get Pendleton finally got to do their annexation. Talk about some of the things working with it, because people, I don't think, sometimes realize that county council does work with these townships and their councils to get things done.
County council believes that we should take care of our towns. We go out of our way to do it. We just did an economic development project with the town of Honeypath. Proud to do it, happy to do it. We help them with surplus equipment. If they have a bad public works situation, we'll send our people down there. But one of the things, and a lot of my background's working with small towns, is they have extreme challenges and they need help. And again, it goes back to, you may live in Honeypath, but you're still an Anderson County resident. So some counties and cities have this, it's us against them. And the way we look at it, and the way our wonderful mayors look at it, and our wonderful administrators in those towns look at it, is, hey, we're all one big happy family. If Uncle Jake needs a little help, we need to go over there and help him. And you also have cooperation between towns when something breaks down. Like, we've gone to Belton and helped with Christmas decorations. We had one of our guys climb the water tower in Belton yesterday to see what we can do maybe about the star. I think the problem is we need to have the ladder to go all the way up. We work with Pendleton all the time, Williamston all the time. We just got a car for Honeypath that they needed for a new program they have. And it's just a delight that everybody feels good and everybody feels included. That's why that Christmas tree out there is the Anderson County Christmas tree. It's everybody's Christmas tree. And the return of the light people in Pelzer is a big deal to me. So congratulations to Mayor Will Ragland and the wonderful family that's been doing that for years. That's a symbol of hope.
One of the other things this year, there's been a lot of challenges, is we've had some weather and it's caused some problems for the wastewater, and those people have had to go out and work across the county to try to...
Derek Singleton and his crew do a remarkable job. We are blessed to have them. I think Derek began working in the sewer division when he was 5. So there's not anything that he doesn't know where it is and how it got there and what needs to be fixed. And plus, we're finally getting close on some big sewer projects that we've been working on. They're working on the one at Liberty Highway and 85 right now. Matter of fact, we probably did some blasting yesterday, so that's underway. And Hurricane Creek, another project we've got, that's underway. And we did the big deal with REWA, where we granted territory to REWA in the northern part of the county because it just makes good sense because they're the sewer professionals, and that's worked out wonderfully well. So all of that's going on, and 18,000 other things are going on.
Well, we hadn't talked about Green Pond in 2020.
No, but they're out there working on Green Pond right now.
But there's been things going on out there all during...
Because we received another $1 million grant and some accommodations tax. And accommodations tax, the only reason we're hanging on there is because the fishing tournament's putting people in hotels. So you've got that going on.
Yeah, the tournament's continued this year.
Yeah, we had no layoff. and we're raising a road out there and getting ready to build the amphitheater. As a matter of fact, they're out there working today. And one of the beautiful things, we have to build up this road, but we're also doing major work at our landfill in Star. So as we dig out for the new section of the landfill in Star, we're hauling our own dirt to put our own dirt at our own green pond. And if you hadn't priced dirt lately, dirt is very expensive. And we had other things, like things that we worked on for over 2 years, is the shores of Asbury. And they're already having people who wanted to book it, and there'll be nothing there to book until at least the spring. So that work is going on there. They're working there right now. And they've already ordered their water feature out there, so you've got that going on. Powdersville, we've done the first phase of our baseball field. The second phase should start up here in 2 or 3 weeks, so they can use that in the spring. The new walking trail by the Saluda River is already established
Dolly
there.
Cooper Park's
Dolly Cooper.
master plan's about to be announced.
Yes, and our handicapped boat access in Belton is now fully operational, but now we're going to put in a place where you can actually put your boat in and provide more access to the Saluda River. So I think that's going to be a great deal.
And Dolly Cooper Park will have the tubing access.
Tubing access where you don't have to
Get in and out and
go for 20 miles. You can just start one end of the park, go to the other, and get out or paddle back up. So that's going to be a nice stretch over there. So we're happy about that.
When county over the last really couple of years has tried to reevaluate all the parks situation and
Yes.
what needs to be fixed and what needs to be, maybe moved to another section or something. Is that
Yes.
still under the evaluation process?
We're still looking at it, but I just don't see how we can really close too many parks. As a matter of fact, we're looking to acquire some from the Corps at no cost to us to keep them open so people will have access to Lake Hartwell. The most successful park that we've done is the East-West Parkway Park. I mean, that thing is hammered all of the time. All of the time there's somebody using it, and that is a wonderful, wonderful thing the county was able to do, and people really do use it and they appreciate it.
And they added a bathroom out there this year.
Yes, we've got a bathroom out there, a really nice bathroom
And
out
the park
there.
was finished this year. All that was in
And the park
2020.
was finished this year, and we may look to add some more benches along the way, because a certain older news person said, for us older people, we might need the benches just a little closer together.
Well, I know you're a planner, and we're almost into 2021. What are you looking ahead for? What are the big planning things you're working on now for the coming year?
To do something with the property behind the courthouse, to try to figure out, and council does this, it's my role to assist, is how do we do something about the roads? What are you going to do about the major population influx? And how do we spread growth throughout the county and concentrate it? But I can assure you that it is affecting other parts of the county. There's a wonderful little restaurant in Honeypath called the Little Biscuit Barn, and it's little, but they make the best biscuits. I was there 2 weeks ago in the middle of the week, and I was having a biscuit. It's so small you hear everything everybody says. There are 8 people sitting at the one big table there, and not a single one of those people were born below the Mason-Dixon line. And they were sitting there talking, and I kind of chimed in, but they were all either working in the local church, or they were visiting shut-ins, or working in the garden club and doing good works. Now, that's in Honeypath. So the growth and people moving in is happening everywhere.
Yeah, and I don't think people a lot of times recognize that if you look at our charities, the overwhelming majority of volunteers are from somewhere, not from South. You and I are homegrown, but most people they're from up north somewhere. They're used to volunteering where they are, and they come down here
And they're retired and they have time to do it. And thank goodness for our charities. Working with AIM, we had a special situation. We couldn't do it because the county couldn't do it, but we called AIM, bingo. Had another situation, we couldn't do anything, called AIM, bingo. They took care of it. So we try to have a great relationship with all of our charities because they do really good work and help a lot of people. So
you've helped the Salvation Army over the last couple of years expand without having to jump through too many hoops.
Help the Salvation Army expand and work.
Meals on Wheels, y'all did.
Meals on Wheels, that federal grant's been a lifesaver for them, and as soon as we can start delivering food out to people. And we have a strong partnership with Meals on Wheels, and really we try to partner with anybody that we can help, and because the more of us trying to help each other, the better off we're going to be.
All right, just vision casting. What would you like to see in 2021? It may not happen, but I know the Christmas tree's going to grow.
A way
again.
for everybody in Anderson County to get to a job, not have to worry about that, not let transportation hold you back. And that's a bigger issue than people know.
See, I don't think most people will think about that.
I don't think people think about that, but it's an issue. An able-bodied person, if you can't get there, and a lot of times, hey, we got a job, it's third shift. Well, there's no bus there, and maybe you don't have anybody to carry you, and maybe if they're carrying you, they can't do something, and maybe you want third shift so the husband or wife can stay home and watch the kids. But if you can't get there, you can't get a job. So that's one of the things. And just to continue to work with our towns, help our towns grow and prosper, and just make Anderson County the best place it can be. Awfully pretty good right now, but we can be even better.
Now, I think we skipped over, we didn't mention the cooperative effort between the county and education institutions. That was a big year for that.
We have a very strong relationship with Anderson University, and we have a strong relationship with our career centers, very strong with our career centers, and also with schools in addition. But we had a meeting 3 weeks ago with Electrolux. We hosted it here with Electrolux and Anderson University. And the reason we did that, Electrolux has their cold storage technology center here. Heavy engineer. Anderson University starting an applied engineering program. So we facilitated putting those people together, providing introductions, and then we sat back for 2.5 hours where they talked about how they could help each other. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And who knew a refrigerator could affect the way your food tastes? Not like you think I left the refrigerator door open and it rotted, but just all kinds of incredible things. There are people making all kinds of incredible things all around Anderson County. You wouldn't believe it.
And Tri-County Tech's feed into a lot of that.
And Tri-County Tech is our partner every day, all day, on training. They've got the asphalt lab is now out at the old TTI building, up in operation. They're putting some classrooms out there for that. They're putting training classes out there for that. We're going to be moving workplace people from northern part of Anderson County to the center of Anderson, so they can help you get jobs better. So it's all of a piece, and it all works together. And every one of these people in all these places are thinking of good things to do. And let's see how we can do it together, because I may not be able to do this, but you can do that, so let's do this.
And a lot of the jobs that are just in the process at Arthrex and the TTI's announcement haven't come to fruition, but they will be in 2021.
Well, you can go to TTI today and get a job. You can go there today and get a job. The two things that Terry Gilstrap and our people at Economic Development, those drive-by job fairs, great successes. But all of our people who are here, you're going to see more expansion from them. Some of our heavy hitters are going to expand even more. Anderson County is a good place to do business. It's a good place to raise a family. It's a good place that your executives want to move here. And it's also a place when your executives move here and then you send them somewhere else. Happens more often than not, out of all the places they've been, said, you know, we really liked our time in Anderson, so we decided to come back here and retire. Time and time again.
And finally, let's turn it around. How would you encourage citizens to be more involved in 2021? What can they do to make the county a better place?
The best thing we can all do is everybody pick up one piece of litter a day. That's the easiest, quickest thing we can do. And the other thing is to be aware of what's going on. And the other thing that I like the best is for people to tell me what I'm doing wrong. And because they'll say, well, I can't believe that you let that happen. And then I'll say, oh, I didn't know that was happening, but I really do appreciate you letting me know, because criticism helps you grow, helps you figure out where you're not doing it. But our county council is in touch with citizens every day. There's a great tradition here in Anderson County. I got a problem, I'm calling my council person. And every one of our council people are on the phone. You wouldn't believe how many calls they make. And they take everything that they get seriously. This is something we need to do. What can we do on this? What can we do on this? What can we do on this? And they'll go out and host meetings of neighborhoods, you know, not anything big official. This neighborhood, they want to know something. Brett Sanders, boom, let's go over there. Let's talk about it. What can we do? So, just, you got an engaged group of public service. Our delegation's the same way. And that's another thing. Our relationship with our delegation is not like it is everywhere else. We all work together. We share information. If we need help on an industry, we know who to call. And it's not the first time they've ever heard about the industry, because we're keeping them involved as we go along. So it's not, we're in this silo, and if we need you, we will come get you to help us. It's just, we're all here trying to do this.
And remind people where they can find out how to contact you and council members and legislative delegation.
They can go to our website, and you can contact us. We're fixing to get away from Your Gov app into a whole new application that's going to be more user-friendly. More information on that is coming, and you'll really be able to get more in touch with us then just by using your cell phone or a computer. And anybody's always welcome to come to county council meetings. We're hoping to get back on regular schedule when COVID goes, and you can always call us, and I try to return every phone call I get. If I miss one or two, it's my fault. It's not somebody else's fault.